come up to the lab and see what's on the slab.
I want to learn the ways of the Force and become a Jedi like my father.
Strange as it may seem, we're back for another installment of Scotty J's Trailer Trash. Yes, I am your host, Scotty J, and this week we're going to do kind of another tribute show on the heels of last time's, the last show we did, we had done a kind of a vampire salute. This week we're going to do kind of a, more or less a tribute to Hammer Films American International Pictures. We're going to start out with a film called The Creeping Flesh. Another Hammer Films one. You know, about a, basically a skeleton that's discovered that reanimates, etc., etc. You've heard the plot before. Followed by a Vincent Price vehicle called Dr. Phibes. It's actually a sequel, Dr. Phibes Rises Again. You look at Mr. Potato Head with all the detachable parts, and then you take a look at Dr. Phibes, and which came first? But take a look, you'll see what I mean. Fascinating, very entertaining film if you get the chance to see it. Followed by, well, we'll take a look. I'll just let you take a look at these, and we'll see you when we come back.
Note the difference between these two skulls. Neanderthal man, primitive, ape-like. Now compare that with this new specimen. This is the link that scientists have been searching for.
A scientific experiment turns into a nightmare as a creature from hell, buried since the dawn of time, is restored to life.
Do you believe in evil, Doctor? I do not mean evil as it is commonly understood. I mean the existence of evil as a living organism. An epidemic slowly spreading until it affects the whole world.
Frankenstein's monster can be destroyed by fire. Dracula by a silver stake driven through his heart. But nothing will avail against the absolute evil of the creeping flesh. The creeping flesh will infect the innocent with its malignant power. The creeping flesh will drive the insane to new excesses of madness and murder.
Of this unholy tomb, the Avenger rises.
the abominable Dr. Phibes, the most deadly mastermind of all crime. Specialist in the fine art of bizarre murder, each more different, each more devilish than the last. The scorpions embrace.
You bloody man!
The eagle's caress. The sausage machine. The one-hand persuader.
He has nothing to say, sir.
Touché, Dr. Phibes. And as another victim falls, the world awaits your next blow of vengeance. Only one man, only one menace, only one diabolical mind could create such chilling terror.
That's not a common thief, sir. Then, Inspector, you are faced with an impossible task. Well, there's no force in all the world could win a fight against such a supreme opponent.
Run, but you can't escape him. Hide, but he'll find you. Scream, but no one will hear you.
The following report to the Royal Geological Society is a true and faithful account of events that befell the Society's expedition in Manchuria. I must accept responsibility for its ending in disaster. What was in there?
I told you, a fossil, part ape, part man. It lived 2 million years ago.
Take a ride on the Horror Express. Positively the most blood-chilling thriller ever conceived. Frozen Siberian tundra, the Horror Express rampages towards its destination of doom. See the dead come alive and the living howl in terror on a non-stop ticket to hell in Horror Express. Starring Telly Savalas and those masters of horror, Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee. Horror Express.
Edward Lionheart truly believed he was the greatest actor of his time. So when these 8 professional critics laughed at his...
Sorry to have missed the meeting, but my heart is with you.
Can't believe it. His head cut off.
They died dramatically. They died spectacularly. They died terribly. They died grotesquely. They died horribly. deaths were so bizarre, so unusual, it was almost as if Edward Lionheart had come back from the grave to create them. But of course, Edward Lionheart was dead. So that was impossible.
Oh, impossible.
Or was it?
Good day, Mr. Devlin.
Come, fire! Consume this happy world, and in its ashes, let my memory lie.
There is a seat reserved for you in the theater of blood. But warning, Vincent Price truly believes this is the most shocking and terrifying performance of his career. For your own safety, you'd better like it. Theater of Blood.
And much of madness, and more of sin, and horror, the soul of the plot. Now, open your eyes. Now, Edgar Allan Poe's masterpiece, Murders in the Rue Morgue, inspires a new dimension in horror. A nightmare of suspense where terrifying dreams come true. Jason Robards defies the vengeance of a psychopathic killer who reaches out from the grave to terrorize a city.
He's the one who killed your mother.
Murders in the Rue Morgue. Rated GP.
And welcome back. Like I had stated last time around about Hammer Films, very colorful film company. One of the first film companies in that respect to utilize color such as they did. Not necessarily the first company to use color, but use it in the manner in which they did. Horror Express, fascinating Christopher Lee, Vincent Price vehicle. Murder on the Orient Express with a nice little monster twist to it. Theater of Blood and Murders in the Rue Morgue. Vincent Price was a genius. Vincent Price, Peter Lorre, Christopher Lee, a lot of these were main staples in the Hammer Film company. And a lot of them, Murders in the Rue Morgue, a lot of the Hammer films were based on Edgar Allan Poe writings. Coincidentally directed American International versions of these films, actually directed and produced by a very young Roger Corman at the time. Right now, we're going to take a break, but then we're going to take a look at some very elegant Gothic horror films. We'll be right back.
Parker Brothers' new Gnip Gnop is very easy to play. You simply try to gnip your 3 balls through the hoops into the other side, and the other guy tries to gnop his 3 balls into your side. But while you're gnipping, he's gnopping. You're trying to out-gnip him while he's trying to out-gnop you. So gnip down to your store and grab the new game from Parker Brothers before they're all gnopped. From Parker Brothers, Gnip Gnop.
Take Malibu Barbie and her suntanned friends with their glasses and their towels, where the road never ends in Barbie's new country camper.
Look what you get. A picnic setup, a pop-out tent, sleeping bags, a camper kitchen.
In Barbie's new country camper, Barbie's country camper home.
Mattel Sunset Dolls and Barbie's Country.
Hey, come on in and see the Barbie pool party. A pool party? Inside? Sure. It's a new Barbie pool party. Watch me make Malibu Barbie go off the board.
Put together the Barbie pool party and make her whoosh down the slide. Jump in, sunbathe in the floating chair. Pretend she's throwing a party.
Hey, Barbie, I'm coming in too.
The new Barbie pool party. Malibu Barbie sold separately from Mattel.
Now you can have fun making flowers with Mattel's new Fun Flower Thing Maker. You get genuine plastic hoop, molds, everything you need. You can make flowers look real or make them up. Even make flowers with faces. 'Cause they're fun flowers. Get Mattel's new Fun Flowers Thing Maker. You can tell it's Mattel.
Welcome back. Right now, we're going to take a look at, we're going to start out with a remake. Right on the heels of Lon Chaney's Phantom of the Opera. This one is also very, very majestic in this setting. If you take a look at the sets in this trailer, they spared no expense. I mean, the huge opera house setting, the audiences, the music. This was actually a musical version of Phantom of the Opera starring Nelson Eddy, but they did so much to glorify it. So it's not so much of a horror film as it is a psychological drama. You actually start feeling for the Phantom himself. But take a look, and done by that same company. You're going to see the follow-up from that company called The Climax. More of a, not so much even a horror film, but just a majestic theatrical musical film again. You'll see what I mean when you see it. We're going to round out this block with another Hammer Films film with Vincent Price called Cry of the Banshee. And we'll be right back to introduce the last trailer, talk a little bit about next week's show. We'll see you soon.
Here is all you've ever wanted in entertainment in one superb show. Here is matchless story, suspenseful, terrifying, never so thrillingly presented. Here in breathtaking technicolor is superb splendor and romance. Here is a chorus of 100 voices, a ballet of 100 dancers, a cast of 1,000. Starring Nelson Eddy in his most vigorous performance, lovely Susanna Foster, and Claude Rains in the most coveted role of the year as the Phantom of the Opera.
My music! You've stolen it! You've stolen my music!
Here, in the midst of gaiety and splendor, lurks a monster of psychological horror. A fiend whose murderous conscience is haunted by a voice from the past. A voice tormenting him to the point of madness.
Rest, my dear, gently slipping away into another world. A world of my design, where you will be helpless without me. Tonight, you give your voice and your will to me.
Starring the lovely songbird of Phantom of the Opera, Susanna Foster. The terrorizing star of Arsenic and Old Lace, Boris Karloff. And a romantic new star, acclaimed for his role in Dragon Seed, Turan Bey. With June Vincent, George Dolenz, Gail Sondergaard, Thomas Gomez, Jane Farrar, Ludwig Stossel, and ballet and chorus of 100.
I was so worried about you. I've forgot to tell you how wonderful you were.
Hold me tight. Please hold me tight. Franz, I'm afraid.
I've come to help you, my dear. You don't want to sing, do you?
Dr. Honert, don't look at me like that. Stop!
Is it the power of black magic that crosses continents to make pawns of Vincent Price, Christopher Lee, and the mysterious man in the red mask?
My brother Edward has died.
Where is he going to be buried?
As soon as you found another body.
Do you realize the penalty for body snatching is hanging?
You're a forger and an embezzler, and now you're going to become a body snatcher.
The mordant menace of Vincent Price that threatens the woman he loves. The diabolic delvings of Christopher Lee, placing his scientific madness above the law.
To assist you in your experiments.
The wanton hedonism of those too hungry for sensual pleasures call out to the living dead.
Waking up in that horrible oblong box. No air to breathe. Every shovelful draining down on the lid.
God, Trench, do you know what that means? It means that my brother was buried alive.
P. Who spurs the beast the corpse will ride? Who cries the cry that kills? When Satan questioned, who replied? Whence blows this wind that chills?
What if there is a power that we know nothing of?
He's from the house. Wait! She's bewitched. A witch man.
Edgar Allan Poe probes new depths of terror. Vincent Price reaches new heights of horror.
H is for heretic.
I know nothing of witchcraft.
We can make you die a minute every day for a year.
I will kill as many of you as I need to.
I curse Lord Edward Whitman. I curse his flesh, his blood. I conjure you, Lord Satan, send me an avenger. Kill.
Satan questions, who replies? Whence blows this wind that chills? What answers when the banshee cries? And kills, and kills, and kills.
So, by looking at that particular version of Phantom of the Opera, horror films are not just for horror freaks anymore. Very majestically done. Done like any of Nelson Eddy's films. You know, there was an operatic base, just the scenery, the majestic sets, the expense that was spared, you know, the expense that was spent just to get all these extras. You know, every little thing, every detail in the film, just phenomenal. This last trailer we're going to take a look at, we had seen the return of Dr. Phibes earlier, or Dr. Phibes Rises Again earlier in the show. We're going to take a look. We're going to end this week's show with the original trailer for The Abominable Dr. Phibes, starring Vincent Price, so you can see how his character started. Until then, oh, regarding next week's show, before I forget, we're going to take a look at a lot of bad 70s trailers, but we're going to take a quick little trailer for one of 6 of the Planet of the Apes films as well. But we'll see you next week. Let's take a look at The Abominable Dr. Phibes starring Vincent Price. Until next week, this is Scotty J for Scotty J's Trailer Trash. We'll see you at the movies.
What lovely music for a murder, or 2, or 3, or 9. Who's this? Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to meet a dear friend. 9 killed you. 9 shall die.
Your wife, no, Phibes. But you I will kill.
But you can't, Doctor. I am already dead.
Dear, how are we going to get him off this? You take his head, and I'll take his feet. Let's unscrew him.
Dr. Phibes, who samples the finer things of life in his own inimitable way, and experiments with fascinating instruments of death.
The what, sir? The guitar. The 10 curses visited upon the pharaohs before Exodus.
9 shall die. 9 eternities in doom.
The curse of boils, of bats. Frogs? Of frogs, yes. And the curse of blood. Curse of hail in the bloody middle of nowhere.
Are you ready for Dr. Phibes?
Probably the most terrifying motion picture you'll ever see.
Sky means business.